Well, you've always heard that narcissists don't care for people, right? Like you've heard me say it, you've heard other people say it. Narcissists don't actually care about you, about your kids, about your family, about things that are actually going on. They only care about themselves. You see, a lot of narcissists are very much self-entitled, right? Entitled to you, entitled to what they want, and have this aspect of grandiosity of like, hey, I'm the best thing ever. So sometimes when I say things like this, people wonder, hey, why are you saying this if you're with your wife? Like, how does that actually make sense? Like, do you actually love your wife? Do you actually care for her? How do you even care for your wife when narcissists don't care for anyone at all? So, if you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness about narcissistic abuse. I'm the founder of Raw Motivations, the creator of the Narc app, and your guide in the 45-day Clarity Challenge you can access at claritychallenge.net. It's a great way to be able to break the rumination, the trauma bond, to work through the triggers that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis so that it no longer controls you anymore. So, narcissists, we know, don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about the kids. Okay? They show this by how they demonstrate, not because of what they say. A narcissist will typically tell you that he cares for you, that he loves you, that he wants you in his life. And all these things will happen over and over and over again until you get to the place where you realize the words and the actions just don't seem to be matching up. What's going on there? Well, the majority of the time, a narcissist wants to tell you one thing, but do the opposite because what they actually want to do is the opposite of that. They don't really care about you, the kids, how it actually shows up, but a narcissist will say a bunch of things to make them feel better about themselves, to make them look good in the public eye, or to be able to justify certain things that they're doing to you, to make you believe that they're not actually abusing you when in reality they are, but they're telling you a different story, an alternate version of reality. When we get into this aspect of narcissists caring or not caring, we also step into the realm of empathy. Okay, so DSM-5 says the narcissists lack empathy. And then it goes on to say is unwilling to acknowledge or identify with the feelings and needs of others. Now, what this means is the majority of narcissists don't have empathy. Got it, okay? And that's one thing that everybody kind of touts of like, no empathy, narcissist. Okay, we connect that dot. But on the other side, there's also the unwillingness to actually identify with the feelings and needs of others. So there's also a piece of having empathy, of knowing that it's actually there, but being unwilling to actually do anything about it, to actually connect with it, to actually open up, to actually work through it. That unwilling piece is very necessary for you to understand. There's a lot of narcissists out there that know what they're doing, that know what they should do, and are unwilling to actually do it. They're unwilling to be honest with themselves. They're unwilling to be honest with you. They're unwilling to make the changes necessary to actually have love and care for another person. As a result, narcissists continue through this spiral over and over and over again. And people say they can't be fixed, they can't be helped, which they can't if they're unwilling to actually be honest with themselves. Just like they're unwilling to acknowledge or identify with the feelings and needs of you. Let me break it down another way. There's times where in the past, my wife had been sitting on the couch crying because of something I'd done, because of something I just said, because of an angry outburst, because of something I confessed, whatever it might be. There was something that was happening. And she was sitting on the couch and she was crying. Now, in that moment, I know I should go over, I should comfort her. I should actually show empathy. I should actually engage with it. I knew that. That was something I knew. But the problem was, if I actually did that, then number one, I would actually go over there and comfort her. It would approve and show that her feelings were valid. Like, it would validate her feelings, period. Second thing is, in validating her feelings, it would actually show that I did something wrong. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road for a narcissist. A narcissist doesn't want to be wrong anytime ever. A lot of times you'll have your narcissist that will die on a hill trying to defend something that is completely illogical and doesn't make sense because they already stated it once and they're not willing to be wrong. The majority of our marriage, I never ever said the word where I was wrong. Couldn't. It wasn't something that would roll off my tongue. It would actually feel like it was stuck, almost like I was mute and couldn't actually say I was wrong. And as a result, I always had to blame it on other people. I had to shift it to someone else so that it wasn't my fault. Then anytime a narcissist does this, is trying to do anything they can to deflect it, to move it, to try to get away from it, so that it's not their accountability or responsibility of the things that are actually going on. So how does it actually break down when we talk about care? Well, narcissists typically don't care or acknowledge your feelings and needs. It's not just for you, but it's also for the kids as well. You'll see this early on. Maybe like 0 to 6 months, 0 to 3 years old, you'll see where the narcissist completely checks out. Doesn't even engage, doesn't even be a part of your life or the kid's life. Didn't even show up for the birth. Like, there's multiple different aspects that we see, but a lot of times the narcissist is like completely checked out. Why should I be a part? Why should I be around? Like, this is just an inconvenience. It's just another human that wakes up, cries, poops and pees, goes back to sleep. So, like, what's the point? Then a lot of times you see as the kids get older, the narcissists start to show more interest. Mainly because at this point it is an opportunity to mold and design this new human into the aspect that they actually love and worship the narcissist. Then it'll disappear after a period of time once the kid gets to the place where you start to realize the stuff that the narcissist is actually doing. Okay, so all this kind of sums up the aspect of like narcissists don't care. One of the last things I'll touch on before we move into the next section about narcissists not caring is this aspect of demonstration. This normally gets people every single time because they're like, well, my narcissist says he cares. My narcissist, he does care about me. He does this every once in a while. And so we have to break it down of what does this person demonstrate on a day-to-day basis. How does this person demonstrate honesty when they won't allow transparency on their phone? Or when they won't actually tell you where they're going? Or they keep all the credit cards secret and they won't be transparent about it. How is that demonstrating honesty? Well, it's not. Okay, how is this person demonstrating love? Well, he keeps yelling at you. He keeps screaming at you. Like he's giving you silent treatment for the past 2 weeks because of something you did that was out of line. So how is that actually demonstrating love? Well, it's not. So like, you have to get to a place where you start to look and be like, wait a second, this person does not care about me because they're unwilling to demonstrate that they actually care. Okay? So you have to be able to see the difference. You have to go off the facts, not off your feelings, and not off what they say. You have to go off the facts. What has actually been demonstrated on a consistent basis. So then people are like, hey, wait a second, what about you, right? Like, you're a narcissist. You tell people that narcissists don't care. So how do you care about your wife? Okay? Here's the illustration I want to be able to give first and foremost. We have a house, okay? And you and the other person are outside the house. You are on one end, and the other person on the one end, on the outside of the house. And I want you guys to step closer and closer to the house so you guys are against both sides of the house, opposite ends of the house on the outside. Now I want you guys to give each other a hug. Doesn't work. You can't because the house is actually in the way. A giant obstacle is actually in the way. The reason why narcissists don't care about you and are unable to actually show love towards you is typically because of their ego. Their ego is a house separating the two people from actually giving each other a hug. The ego is actually separating from the humility of being able to say, I was wrong. The ego is actually there separating the two people and not allowing this piece of love to actually be transparent in each other's lives. Because of the fact that the ego is blocking the narcissist from actually engaging with that. So, how does it match up with myself and my wife? Part of it was having to adjust my definition of love. Love is not control. It's not manipulating. It's not seeing where someone is 24/7. It's not making sure that they're always focused on me. It's not all this inward, what you do for me is how much I love you. Like all of that. Love is not control. The other thing besides love is not control is the aspect of like dying to my ego and saying, okay, I'm this person. I'm the person that has done all of this. I'm the person who has hurt in so many different ways. I'm the person who has destroyed stuff in so many ways. And getting to the place of being honest about this and actually saying, hey, this is actually what's going on. It's important for me to be able to acknowledge and see that. Otherwise, what happens is we just go through this cycle over and over and over again, and I never admit anything because I don't care, because I don't connect, because I don't look. But instead, I need to actually acknowledge who I am, where I've been, what I've done, so I can start to move forward. So this aspect of narcissists don't care, and wait a second, how do I care about my wife? Part of that gets transcended with the aspect of one, starting to kill and to put down my ego, to get rid of it, so I can actually say, hey, I was wrong. And actually start to build trust by demonstrating care, by demonstrating honesty, by demonstrating love. And by getting to the place where I'm changing the definition of love to no longer be the manipulative one that I was viewing for such a long period of time, that love was control. I had to control people this way. So you need to be able to understand, in order for a narcissist to be able to love, they have to be able to sacrifice their ego, actually admit that they're wrong, identify who they are, and start to work on that consistent change. For me, at the time of this recording, I've been with my therapist 2.5 years every single week. It's whatever, like 130 plus times. The majority of narcissists won't even go more than 5 times. Or they'll go like once every couple months. Because they're unwilling to actually put in the work required to change, to grow, and to develop. And just doing stuff inside of Wake Up Warrior and doing the stacking process, which is rewiring the mindset, what we teach in the 45-day clarity challenge. I've done over 1,300 of those stacks in the past 1.5 years. Like, this is the reason why there is a change, there is a difference, because there is a willingness for me to get to the place of being honest, because the old aspect of life did not work. It did not function. It was leading me down a dark path over and over and over again with cheating, with affairs, with lies, with gaslighting, and all this cycle that I got to a place where I'm saying, like, hey, this no longer works for me. I hate this. It's driving me into the ground, and I'm not actually moving forward to being the person that I want to be because I'm unwilling to acknowledge who I actually am. The reason why your narcissist typically won't change and typically won't care about you and typically won't demonstrate that is because they're unwilling to actually acknowledge your feelings and needs. But more than that, they're unwilling to be truthful to themselves about who they are and what they've done. If you're holding out hope for a narcissist, if you don't see honesty, vulnerability, and consistent change, you're living a pipe dream, and you need to move on. You need to focus on your growth, your healing, your development. If we can be a part of that, go to rawmotivations.com. Would love to speak to you there, or go to claritychallenge.net. That's the 45-day challenge that I mentioned earlier to start your journey in the healing process.